It's all love, guys. It's all love. So we are back again with another video, and I'm excited to be here. Although when I started recording this video, I've done it. This is the second time that I'm about to do it. The first time my device was off, and I didn't even know that my device was off. But then this is for the love of it. So we are back again, and we are about to record it. Whether it likes it or not, it will be recorded and uploaded. Let's just start.
This is going to rub people the wrong way, but insecure people and narcissistic people are the same. Both disorders present differently, but they come from the exact same place. And if you're insecure or narcissistic yourself, there's one exercise that might be able to help you. Let me explain. First off, what exactly is narcissism? Narcissism is often described as an inflated sense of self-importance. And what that means is you need to believe that you are better than other people. And you need the world to constantly validate that you're better than other people. And if that doesn't happen, you start to get tilted. You get envious really easily of people who have good things that you feel you deserve. This often comes with attention-seeking behavior and low empathy and all these other words people love to use to describe their exes. So when most people imagine a narcissist, they imagine a swaggering, arrogant dickhead who's always making you feel worse than yourself. But the mental picture of an insecure person is someone who's maybe very shy and maybe self-deprecating and has low self-confidence and doesn't seem to believe that they're good enough. And now let me tell you why they are actually the exact same thing. Both disorders are rooted in having a fragile ego. Your ego is your sense of self. It's how your own brain perceives you as a human being, especially in relation to other people. And you basically have a fragile ego when your sense of identity is extremely easily disturbed by external events. Your well-being and self-esteem are super dependent on external validation. Both narcissistic people and insecure people crave to be constantly propped up, and for that reason, in different ways, end up becoming a nuisance or a drain to people around them. Everyone's got some narcissistic and some insecure tendencies, so what can we do to make our egos less fragile? The goal is to think less about ourselves and focus more on the world around us. So we can simply enjoy the experience of participating in, let's say, a swimming competition, without being super obsessed with getting first place, or being constantly on edge, or maybe not even competing at all because we're worried about what other people are going to think we look like in our swimsuits. So the exercise that I was talking about is the next time that you're at a social occasion, let's deflect all questions and focus on asking people questions about themselves. Make it your job to try to make everybody else have as much fun as possible. And this is very key, without expecting to get anything back in return. You are the NPC, that person is the main character. And that is really good practice for the kind of person who, without realizing it, has probably spent most of their lives trying to gauge what people think about them. Because true, healthy confidence doesn't come from believing that you're the best or the prettiest or the smartest. It comes from not caring if you are. There's this amazing book called You're Not Listening, where an award-winning journalist talks about how self-absorbed most people are in conversation. Here's the thing, people aren't actually going to notice that you're not talking about yourself.
What this woman discovered about our blood is going to change your life forever. I mean, it's crazy stuff. So she ran an experiment using dark field microscopy, so basically live blood analysis. She tracked what was happening to her red blood cells when she was feeling certain kinds of emotion. And what she found was mind-blowing. Here is just the difference between what unhealthy cells look like and what healthy red blood cells look like. When she was feeling sadness and grief, she found that her red blood cells would change to the shape of tears. When the emotion she felt was love, she found that the red blood cells would form perfect shape and would move beautifully. Essentially, the red blood cells became healthy and normal. When she was feeling fear and anxiety, she noticed that the red blood cells would move very sporadically, and they would move very quickly. But this one really blew my mind. They found that when the doctors prayed over the red blood cell sample, or the blood sample, they found that the red blood cells started to glow. And they would glow, and there would be these sparkles also around the red blood cells. And perhaps the most interesting part is, obviously this red blood cell sample has been taken away from the body. And they found that this glow and this sparkling was pulsating at the same heart rate as Rebecca, as if the blood still had a divine connection to the person.
Man, I'm still young and have so much time to develop, but one thing I really wish that I knew sooner was you need to exercise your sexual energy with discipline as a developing man or woman now more than ever. Even if you feel lonely or bored, you need to protect that energy.
I like this.
Because when you are getting with someone, it's not you just getting with this one person. And just stay with me now. And I'm saying this because each time you partake in sexual acts, especially if it's you getting with the same person over and over again, we're building this soul tie with this person, which are like these like invisible chains that interlock your soul with this person and make you unable to see their red flags. It's so much harder to walk away from this person. But you're also essentially tapping into this person's whole family tree and lineage, because at the end of the day, that's what we're all products of. We're forgetting that people are the product of their family's energies and traumas. And if you're intertwining yourself that deep into their energy, then bro, like, you will really find out that some of these people have some serious illnesses and demons in their families that we can't see, but have latched onto their energy and created their whole identity. This is all without you even being aware of it until it hits you, and it gets even harder to break free of these lust demons the more you partake. And on top of that, this person you constantly give all of your energy to probably isn't even going to be your spouse. So remember, when you withhold sex, you are reclaiming your power. So do not create this damage in your life that builds upon itself exponentially the more you indulge. Because if you're someone that thinks you're missing out, or you're just like not getting it for someone and you feel bad about that, God is actually protecting you. When lust leads your decisions, your wisdom is fading.
Oh my God, this is like my fucking shit. You are
when
not meant
lust
to
leads your
survive. I don't know
decisions,
if
your
you knew
wisdom
that.
is fading.
But yes, we are survival beings. We have survival programming within our beings that is preventing us from being naturally abundant, fulfilled, excited, playful, all of the good shit, right? The Matrix operates in the 3D reality. The 3D reality operates on fear and survival mode. The point is to not survive. It is to get out of survival mode. How do you do that? You need to regulate your nervous system. You need to reprogram your subconscious programming. You need to heal your inner child. It is a lot, like, it's all about self-awareness. It is all about tuning out the noise of, I need to get money, I need to get a job, I need to get a car. Go within and look at all of the parts of yourself that are not in alignment with your divine nature of love, abundance, and wow. I know it's hard because we live in a world where, yes, you need money, but you are the abundance, and you have been programmed to think that it is on the outside of yourself, and your worth is on the outside, and you need to prove yourself, and you need to be of value, or else you're a piece of shit, and blah, blah. You really, it's all in here. It starts in here. The only way that I shifted my life is by reprogramming my mind. And literally, there's fear all around us. Like, when you choose to be like, I am a naturally divine, abundant being, and all of my needs are easily provided for at all times, I promise you, this reality does not want that for you. And it's not because it doesn't love you. It is because that we are literally being pulled by programming to keep us the same. And since we are survival beings, because back in the old good days, I couldn't just walk down to the grocery store and get food. I had to hunt and maybe starve for a few days. We are survival beings. But when you are out of survival mode, that is your true state of being. And the Matrix is designed to keep you grounded in your survival mechanisms. But once you become self-aware, once you do the inner work, and once you regain power over your mind, that's where the magic happens. Mind over matter. If you look at the matter more than you look at your like, you have to trust your intuition. You have to trust God more than you trust your physical, logical mind that is telling you it's not possible. Stop. You need to be realistic. Honestly, if you're the type of person that says realistic, please, for the love of God, Control, Alt, delete that fucking word out of your vocabulary. Matrix programming is survival programming. Survival programming repels the abundance and the inspiration and the authentic self away from you, even though it's within. But you're so tuned out there, but you need to go back in.
You actually only need two things to be an unusually seductive, attractive, compelling person. And it doesn't actually matter what your stats are, how rich, how good looking, what you do for a living. You can literally gaslight people into believing that you are a special person whom they want in their lives. The first one is act like your life is awesome. And that's not the same thing as acting as though your life is perfect. Most people are kind of passive and discontented and always wonder if they'd be happier if things were a little bit different. And if you simply act at peace with yourself and the life that you've chosen, people are going to wonder what your sauce is. Simply being free from grass is greener syndrome automatically sets you apart from 99.9% of the human population. There is so much power over acknowledging the imperfections and hardships of your life, but taking ownership and saying, I chose this and I'm at peace with it. And if you execute this successfully, you are automatically the equal of anyone in the room simply because you are living the life that you chose. Because essentially you're creating the very powerful impression that this is a person who knows what they want, goes after it, and gets it.
I like to say something, right? So when I started doing this everyone around me was like blah 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 blah, you know, a whole lot of negative emotions all around doing this. But then I had, you know, a different mindset. I had a different mentality about what I truly wanted to do, which was I wanted something that I can, you know, move around the world and still be able to, you know, generate money. Like, I feel like we are not supposed to base our whole life on money and doing things which, you know, we are not happy with, to just acquire money and to stay stagnant in one place. Like, that's not what I believe. So I feel like, okay, why don't I, you know, now technology has made it so simple for us to be able to, you know, do something and get maybe money out of it, or the life that we want out of it. We are not doing this because of money. We are doing this because we want to reprogram our minds so that we can live a fulfilling life, right? So basically, I am content with what I have, and then again, I am happy. Like, I feel I'm an abundant person. Like, I have the mindset of, you know, money coming to me easily, and, you know, doing whatever that I have to do to keep my vibration very very high, and also, you know, get closer to God, pray, do everything, like simple life. But then as time goes on, I am aiming for a simple life which is full of minimalist luxury. I feel like that's what I'm aspiring for, and yeah, nothing too crazy. So I mean, freedom is one of the most underrated things, right? Which we downplay because it's connected with money, right? Our freedom is connected with money. So when you want to be free, it's either you become a slave of money, or you find a way to be money's master. That's how you become free. So yeah, be your authentic self and do what you please, what makes you happy. As time goes on, you know, heaven is going to make a way, regardless of how things are, you know, the ups and downs are wavy. But then, yeah, heaven is definitely going to make a way. This was just something inspiring that I wanted to tell you, and let's get back to the video.
You are free. You are free from envy and jealousy and the need to put other people down and the need to brag. You're just at peace. When you think about it, there's actually no need to voice every little doubt and regret and second guessing that goes through your head. It doesn't really help to share it with other people. Like, yes, you might find a temporary relief, but it's not like they can help you. People always respect contentment, ownership, and agency wherever they see it. Stay tuned for part 2.
To unconfident people, narcissism in others looks like confidence. But to confident people, narcissism always looks like a lack of confidence. Narcissists are actually really easy to deal with. You don't. The way to tell the difference between narcissism and confidence is you look at how it affects other people. So narcissism, by definition, needs to diminish others in order to maintain a sense of comfort and security. Whereas confidence, there's always a sense of comfort and security regardless of what other people are saying or doing. So here are 5 ways to deal with a narcissist. Number 1, just stay away. Just don't even deal.
Just stay away.
Number 2, don't try to convince them that they're wrong. They're never going to change their mind. So stay away. Number 3, don't try to fix them. Don't try to save them. Stay away. Number 4, don't argue. That just feeds their narcissistic energy. Stay away. Number 5, stay the fuck away. A lot of what passes for life advice is simply narcissism dressed up as confidence and sold at a premium to unconfident people.
Imagine a motherfucker playing in your face, right? Whole time they only objective is to get you to stoop to the level that they at. Like, they want you to react to all the shit that they doing just so they can point the finger at you and be like, damn, you finally did some shit. Look at what you did. And they only gonna bring up your reaction. They're not going to bring up the fact that they triggered you. They're not going to bring up the fact that you tried to nip that shit in the bud. You tried to prevent it. Any type of situation where it's weird or it's about to turn to an argument, you put your 2 cents in and let it know, look, I don't want it to go here, but they still kept picking at you until you finally blew the fuck up. You might have blew the fuck, not even saying you put your hands on them, you might have cussed them out. And now they want to point the finger at you like, damn, look what you did. Nah. I told you stop messing with me, stop picking at me. And finally, when you react, now they finally get the victory that they was looking for. That's why you can't react. You just gotta, okay, yeah. I heard what you said. Yeah, I heard you. You gotta agree with that shit. Because if not, as soon as you react, you ain't never gonna hear the end of it. Now they always got a situation where they can point the finger at you and say, look at what you did. And that's what they want you to do. They'll be passive aggressive towards you the whole time, the whole day. Picking at you, picking at you, picking at you. And as soon as you react, you lost. That's what a narcissist want to do. They want to put you in that bind to where you get that reaction, to where you feel like you them. But don't let them play with your mind.
How to argue like a lawyer. This is How to Convince with Lawyer Vince, and I teach communication skills I've learned as a lawyer. Number 1, don't get defensive. The moment you start getting reactionary and defensive, it's when the other person knows they've gotten under your skin. Instead, don't give them that satisfaction, and be calm and composed and stick to the plan. Number 2, don't get personal. The moment you start making personal jabs is when the other person knows your argument is not strong. That's why you are resorting to personal attacks. Instead, you want to focus on your main argument and don't fall for that low-hanging fruit. Number 3, acknowledge their points, especially if you don't agree, because people aren't likely to switch sides unless they feel like they've been heard and listened to. So when responding, try to use some of their points in your response. That way they feel heard. Send this video to a friend and give me a follow.
Did you know that 95% of who you are by the age of 35 is just a set of memorized thoughts, behaviors, and emotions? That means most people aren't actually living, they're running a program. But here's the good news, you can break the cycle. It starts with understanding how your brain creates you. Let me explain. Dr. Joe Dispenza breaks this down beautifully in his book, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. Neuroscience shows that every thought you think wires your brain in a certain way. When you repeatedly feel the same emotions, your neurons actually strengthen those connections, carving a pathway in the forest. Over time, that path becomes automatic. This is why change can feel so hard if you're unaware on how your brain and body actually operate. I don't know if you knew this, but your body literally memorizes your emotional states. If stress is your default, your body expects it, even if your external situation has changed. And this is exactly why if you try to think positive, your body pulls you right back into your old patterns without you even knowing what's really happening. Ancient spiritual traditions have always taught that awareness is the key to transformation. Meditation, breath work, and visualization were all designed to break the cycle of unconscious patterns. Now, modern neuroscience is proving that these techniques actually rewire your brain in real time. Dr. Joe Dispenza teaches that if you want to change, you have to think greater than you feel. Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, this amazing book right here, he explains how mental rehearsal and meditation rewire your brain. Athletes use this, CEOs use this, and even patients with chronic illnesses have healed using these principles. The question is, are you ready to rewire yourself? Let me know in the comments if you've read this book already.
Y'all hurry up and get in here. I just got out of court and I am shocked, appalled, and damn near dead. Now, me and my client was sitting in the courtroom waiting our turn. There was another hearing going before us. And I usually don't pay any attention to that. I'm responding to emails, going off on these trash lawyers, doing what I do best. That was until I heard that the case before somebody had just got caught in the biggest lie I think I've ever heard in court. Now, let me tell you what was going on with that case. It was a divorce case and husband and wife was in there battling it out. Husband had said that wife had removed thousands of dollars from their bank account, how she was threatening to burn the house down, all kinds of stuff. Then he went on to accuse her of cheating. Not only was she cheating, but she was sending him footage of her dipping it down low and bringing it back up.
Let me just pause it for a minute. I think lawyers would hear some of the most bizarre, like some of the most craziest stories in life. Like, it's crazy, like what they can, hear. Because human beings are weird, and when it gets to go to a lawyer is when your issue or your case has gotten to a point where the government has to come in. Like, that's the highest, right? So I think they are going to hear more crazy stories, more crazy scenarios, and a whole lot of things. This was just, by the way, it just dropped in my thought, and I thought I should just share it. So let's continue.
And he said that she had gotten several abortions. Y'all, the husband then introduced these text messages into evidence of her sending him all these nasty things. And then he had a voice recorder talk about how she was going to burn the house down. And we all listening to court as they're playing this audio. And we like, oh, this lady is crazy. Then wife takes the stand. She denies ever cheating on him. She denies ever sending him any videos. She denies ever saying anything about burning the house down. Then in walks their next witness, who is their sister-in-law, the husband's brother, the brother's wife, the sister-in-law. That's who walks in. And that is when all hell broke loose. This lady testifies that she overheard a conversation between the two brothers where him right there in that courtroom had told his brother, which is her husband, that he was using AI as his evidence to trap his wife. Y'all, as the hearing continued and more evidence was introduced, y'all, they had everything. This man had used AI to do that fake voice recording of his wife saying she was gonna burn the house down. Y'all, all the photo evidence that he allegedly had of her cheating, that was all AI. All I can say is, Lord have mercy. I ain't never seen a story crumble like what I just saw today in court. I also wanted to take a moment and thank everyone who supported season 1 of my reality show on YouTube. It has been a ride, hasn't it? We are currently in pre-production for season 2, and I have some good juicy stuff coming up for you guys on my channel. Here's a preview of what's to come. We'll be discussing some of the craziest Reddit stories that involve family law, also intertwined with some viewer write-ins. We will be discussing some of the most craziest stories on Reddit. And I'm going to pull the juicy stories and give them to you. The time my mom kidnapped our newborn. Wife calls hysterical. My neighbor comes running out. She says, "What's going on?" My mom knew at the time where we kept our spare key and let herself in. I'm not going to let her foot on the gas. Am I the asshole for not wanting to give my deceased husband's sperm to his parents?
Lord, these stories.
My mother married my fiance's father. Married in secret yesterday, making my fiance my stepbrother. Brace yourself, people. As you can see, I'm not letting up. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments.
Oh, as a lawyer. It's the same person.
You know, I heard once, if you want to hide something, you put it in a book. Man, isn't that malicious? Anyways, I want to talk to you today about law. You see, law is an acronym, and it stands for land, air, and water. See, I always do two things whenever I'm researching something. Number one is, where did it come from? And two, why is it that way? You got to question everything, right? So for this in particular, it goes all the way back to the British, and when the English had the largest navy, or one of the largest navies, and they basically ran the sea, right? So what they did is they took the English language, or the language of the sea, and they brought it back into commerce. And then they manipulated the courts and the banking's language into what we call Admiralty Maritime Law, or the law of the water, okay? So let's talk through some of the etymology and the why things are that way. All right, so we'll start with the fact that all ships are female. Have you ever wondered why that is? The captain will say, "Oh, she's a good ship," right? Well, now, stick with me here because this is absolutely freaking wild. Well, it's because a ship is a vessel. A vessel carries product, right? A ship delivers product, right? When a ship parks, it's called a berth. And where does it park? It parks at a dock. All right, still with me? Okay, this is why you're considered a product when you go to court, right? In the eyes of the court, because your mother was a vessel, aka the ship, that carried you, the product, to term. Then she delivered you at your berth to the dock, or the doctor, right? The dock tender. That's why when her water broke, she delivered you to shore through the berth canal. Whoa, okay. This is why when courts refer to you as a person, okay, this is why they group together person, place, and thing, because person is a noun, all right? But you are not a thing. You are a living, breathing soul. You are a verb. You are always breathing and growing and evolving, right? Notice the ing. You're living. You're a being. Okay, this is why when you are registered at birth, okay, because you're given a birth certificate because a ship has to register its product upon delivery to the dock through a manifest. Okay, so let's look at the money side of things. All right, and why money is water, right? What sits on either side of a river that directs the flow of the water? That's right, a river bank. Well, just like how banks direct the cash flow, right? Or the currency. This is why we talk about having liquidations or liquid assets, right? Money is water. That's why all commerce is handled using maritime admiralty law, the law of the water, okay? But you got to realize that there is a different kind of law. There's the law of the land and there's the law of the water, all right? So, I can go...
Men do not fall in love with promiscuous women. Disrespectful behavior and the strong possibility of infidelity do not engender feelings of romantic love. Yet, many men redouble their efforts to win over such a woman by telling themselves the feelings they have are true love. That's not love. That's the naturally masculine reflex to regain competence and thus agency. Agency is our ability to control our lives as much as possible. The promiscuous woman basically does what she does because she's a walking disorder, and no amount of good intentions from a man can fix her. You'll die a miserable man trying. The initial phase of enthusiastic sex and love bombing cause a man to become ego invested in her. When the novelty wears off and she begins to act single again, despite being in a relationship, the man seeks to salvage that investment that he's made. He feels emasculated by her behavior, and instead of wisely walking away, he attempts to win her over. If he can overcome her emasculating behavior, he thinks he can salvage his agency. His ego feels bruised, but restoring his dignity means stepping out of the trap, not redoubling his efforts to overcome the trap. The man holding frame bows out, dignity intact, and restores his competence by walking away.
Free game, fellas. If you met her in the streets, chances are the bitch is for the streets. If she works at Chrysler, she's a fucking hoe. If she ever had the passcode to your phone, you best to believe she done went through that bitch. If her best friend don't like you, it's because she likes the other nigga. If she keep trying to convince you that this is your kid and saying, oh, this is your kid, it's probably because it's not. I don't give a fuck if that kid look like you. You ever seen Murray? Yeah, okay. If her house is dirty, so is her coochie. Under the motherfucking bathroom cabinet, around the motherfucking toilet, that oven, that refrigerator, and that motherfucking tub is gonna tell you everything you need to know about that bitch hygiene. If the bitch is out of shape, she don't give a fuck about your health or hers. The fuck? And guess what? Her gay male best friend might not even be that gay after all. At all. And if she gossip about her friends, it's probably because she intimidated by them or motherfucking jealous. If the bitch always have a problem, that's because she's a problem. If the bitch all she dated was dope boys in the past, even if you're a dope boy for the right price, she'll set you up. And last but not least, guys, if the bitch ever sold pussy once before, she'll sell it again. You're welcome.
Obviously.
The ultimate test? No matter what. No matter the trigger, no matter the lie, no matter the manipulation, no matter the inconsideration or the disregard, you show up as your most integral self. And the most integral self is universal. The most integral self is accepting and forgiving and patient. This does not mean to disregard your own boundaries around these situations. It simply means that you have mastered the way that your nervous system perceives and responds to threat. When your nervous system responds to someone lying or manipulating or using, it's because you are giving that situation and that reality power to be real and true. And any amount of energy or mind space and real estate that you give to any other reality outside of acceptance, it's taking away from the reality of your truest desires. Because your truest desire is to not be lied to. It's to be surrounded by truth tellers and integral people, such as yourself. The sign that you have entered into and consented to the test is that you are now aware. You are conscious of the opportunities that are presented within every triggering situation. It's that every time your nervous system is activated, your first response is not what they did to you, but of the test. And the masters of the test begin climbing the ranks of the game very quickly. Because your manifesting machine is no longer being fed information in the form of thoughts, of rumination and preoccupation and lower negative frequency that aligns with a lower negative reality that distracts you from that which you truly desire. The test is to distract you, and to test you as to whether or not you are ready for that which you claim to truly desire.
I'm finna give this ninja something he can't get rid of. And when I say something he can't get rid of, I'm talking about something deep. I'm talking about where he can't even leave me alone. He gonna have to be with me forever and always. I'm talking ain't no new girl on the side. I'm talking ain't no more 304s for him. I'm talking just me and only me and me forever until we, in that bed.
If you don't get a good woman, it's crazy
So I
in this
found
world
out
right now.
he was dealing with another chick. So I called him and I told him to come over. So basically right now,
This is crazy.
you know
This
how dudes is,
disgusting.
they gonna
This is
take the
awful.
do. But I told him to come over. So basically right now, I'm waiting for him to pull up. And I ain't gonna lie, I'm gonna do that to him. Like I'm finna give him that good cool cat. I'm finna lay that pipe down. I give him the 1, 2, 3, and y'all. In a couple days, he gonna start feeling some symptoms. He gonna start feeling skitty and stuff. He gonna be asking me questions. I'm gonna be acting all subliminal, like I don't know what he talking about. And then I'm gonna flip the script on him, like, what, Ninja, you gave me something I can't get rid of. I'm gonna play it off like I'm really mad, like I'm really feeling some type of way when really I already know what's going on. I gave you something you can't get rid of. That's what you get when you get to messing with a girl like me and you get to cheating and, you know, playing with my heart. And I got a lot of those too. And you know, me being the 304, I do that too quite a bit. Like, you ain't finna get off on me and think you just ran off on me. No. We giving and returning over here, baby. So I'm actually looking forward for him to be pulling up, because I swear I can't wait until he get to calling me days later like, what? You gave me something I can't get rid of, this and that. Yup. And now we together forever and always. Now what? And now we gonna have our little 1, 2, 3s on the side. And now you can't cheat on me no more. And every girl that you end up cheating on me with, I'm gonna tell her what you did to me and what you gave me, and I can't get rid of. And we gonna pull out paperwork party around this month, because you ain't finna do me dirty and think I ain't finna do you what.
I think one of the reasons that kids from abusive households are so likely to get into abusive relationships later in life is because so many people excuse abusive behaviors by citing their own trauma and abuse. And one of the reasons that I have such low tolerance for it, my brother and I came out of the same household, right? My brother was abusive in said household. I kind of forgave him for it because we were both we were dealing with the same shit. It makes you crazy. Once you're out of it, right, you're out of it. You have to work really hard to get to be okay, or you can sink into it. And people will ask me like, well, why are you doing so much better than your brother? Because my brother chose to hurt people instead of get better. And I know they all do it the same way. When predatory people learn that you also have abuse and trauma, they'll tell you, I was traumatized and abused. You'll find some camaraderie there. And then it turns out they don't want to get better. They just want to use their abuse and trauma as an excuse to continue those behaviors, to exert control on other people, to make it your problem, really, that they haven't healed. And they'll try to guilt you with the, well, you're supposed to understand, but you also have trauma, but I can't help it. I can't help the manipulation. I can't help the abusive behaviors. I know for a fact my brother will approach women by saying like, oh, I had a really hard childhood, and, you know, making them feel sorry for him. And then they just start seeing how much you'll put up with because you feel bad for them. And I have had to pull friends out of abusive situations with men that would be so mean, so hurtful, so physically harmful. And then when you show up to kick them out, to make them face some consequences.
One of the genius forms of human life is what's called an empath. I mean, you can have genius with various talents, musical instruments and inventions. You can have genius IQs and all that kind of stuff. But a certain kind of genius is the emotional genius, in particular the empath. They're very important people. They tend to be quiet, but they relate to other people empathically, and that gives other people more presence. And then the problem with being an empath is you empathically feel the suffering of others. And so I think empaths can live in the world without being crushed, but there needs to be this awakening and understanding of the nature of one's own emotionality. And then I think there needs to be practices, that is to say arts, but also possibly rituals that keeps a person whose essence is so empathic grounded in ways that allow them to shed all of the stuff they're absorbing from other people in the world. I hope that makes sense. But it's a particular way of living for a person who is empathic when the world is going through so much trouble. And every person that we meet could tell us the story of their overwhelm, of their fears.
There's two types of people in this world. Ones that use their trauma as an excuse to hurt other people and therefore passing on that trauma, and the cycle goes on and on. And then there's the healers, the ones with the tenacity, the strength, and the courage to step out of the norm and feel the pain that was passed on and say, it ran in the family until it ran into me. They know how much that trauma, that pain, that hurt, how much it hurt. And they will do anything in their power to make sure that they don't make someone else feel that kind of pain. That's your superpower. You're a healer. You are changing your legacy, not only your life, but all the lives after you. I'm proud of you. Keep going. We need way more people like you. The amount of strength that it takes to take that pain and turn it into something beautiful is incredible. You're incredible. Besitos.
You are incredible. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about something very, very, brief. So we do this videos, or we react to these videos, or we watch these videos because we are trying to, reprogram our mind, and it can help people too as well, right? It can help you, it can help me to reprogram our minds. We've all been in abusive and narcissistic, relationships one way or the other, and we have to, reprogram our minds so that we don't extend it to the people we truly love. So, yes. And we've come to the end of the video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and also share with your friends. And also click on the notification bell icon so that any video that I post, you will be the first to get it. Adios amigos, and I'll catch you guys in my next video. Bye.